Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby, and on this channel I share personal experiences and also challenges, all with the aim of motivating you to pursue your own desires. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the time when I got kicked out of Canada. Scary thought, but yes, so I got kicked out of Canada. So a little bit about my background. I'm Nigerian and I went to school in the UK. I have a master's in business administration, so I have an MBA. Back in 2013, a good friend of mine who lived in Canada at the time, came to Nigeria to visit, and she mentioned to me, she said, "Oh, why don't you move to Canada? You would do really well there." Because in Nigeria at the time, I didn't have a job, and obviously I'm sure so many people in Nigeria relate to this. You're educated, you're qualified, but you just can't get the job. So I was in that position at the time. So when my friend suggested Canada, I actually started thinking about moving to Canada, or at least exploring the option of, moving abroad to see what choices I would have when I moved. My friend was really good. She reached out to a friend of hers in Canada who sent me an invitation letter. I went to the embassy. I got a visa. At that time, it used to take about 3 months to get a visa. I got my Canadian visa. It was a 2-year visa, so I got my visa and I decided, well, I would come visit Canada in the summer. I flew into Canada in June or July, if I remember correctly. So I landed Canada. It was summer. It was nice. Canada was different. People just looked like they were living their best lives. I think it's part of the Western thinking and the liberalization of the country, where you're entitled to live just your life and nobody needs to tell you how to live your life. Anyway, when I got here though, everything was shining, spanking new. I liked it. And because I knew that, well, I didn't really have a job I was going back to, I started looking for work in Canada. And what the Canadian government does is that when you come here as a visitor and you want to stay, you have to get a job and at the same time get a labor market opinion or a labor market impact assessment. Now what that means is that the employer who wants to give you a job basically needs to prove to the Canadian government that there's no Canadian or permanent resident here who wants to do that job. And as you know, there are tons and tons of jobs in Canada. So I went around and within like 2 weeks, I had already gotten like a job. I had gotten a labor market opinion already. So I felt, oh, yes, you're on your way. You're definitely going to just stay in Canada and forget about Nigeria and move on with your life. So I was looking forward to that. For me to actually change my visitor's visa to a work visa, I needed to leave Canada and come back. And obviously, because I didn't want to go back to Nigeria, I decided that I was going to go to the border. So Canada borders America. So as long as you step out of Canada, you're technically out of Canada. So I was going to go to the border, the nearest border, which was Coutts, step out of Canada and step right back in, so they can change my visitor visa into a work visa. So I got another really good friend of mine who I met in Canada to drive me 5 hours to the border. It was the Coutts border that borders Montana, and I stepped out only to step back in, and the lady's like, "Well, sorry, we're not going to give you the work visa now because you came as a visitor and now you want to stay in Canada. We would like you we like that you want to work in Canada and stay here, but I would want you to go back to Nigeria and apply from Nigeria." Obviously, I was devastated because I'm like, what kind of wahala is this? So I'm like, I don't even know the next step, because everybody, and I went online, everybody that had applied from Accra, Ghana at the time for a work permit, majority of them were denied. So I already knew, I was quite pessimistic, so I already knew that the chances of you getting this visa if you went to Nigeria were going to be pretty slim. I got back from the border, so she gave me 2 weeks, and I remember really clearly, it was a blonde girl. Her name was Kelsey, because I was like, in my mind, I'm like, Lord Jesus, please touch Kelsey, touch her, so that this her heart would, like just allow me small. But she obviously gave me just 2 weeks to leave Canada. So I got back to Edmonton, met with my friends, and told them what had happened. Quite honestly though, a lot of people were really helpful, and everybody came with their own sort of advice. So there was nothing I didn't hear. I was told, well, just file for asylum, which is Aduro, or refugee, of which I'd have to like change my name. All the certifications that I had done, my MBA, I would forget them, and I would just be an entirely new person. Another suggestion was be a lesbian on paper. So I was going to like obviously decide and say that, oh, I'm a lesbian, but my country is persecuting me, so it's not safe for me in Nigeria. And another option was to get married to someone. They were like, oh, if you can just bring $7,500, we can get you married to somebody and you stay. At that time, even a doctor that I didn't even know, an African doctor, was like, don't leave Canada though. They told you to leave, but don't leave, because if you leave, you'd never come back. So I was getting all of these advices from left, right, and center. And I'll be honest with you though, at that time I was so fed up that I evaluated these choices. I thought about it. I sat down. Obviously I can't be a lesbian. I'm a Christian, and I'm not about to say I'm something that I'm not. So that was off the table. I was even okay with the concept of marrying for paper, but at the same time I wasn't sure that was my only option, so I didn't really go down that path. Then the whole filing for asylum and refugee, I just thought, well, I put in so much in my life at that time that I wasn't ready to throw it all away. Nigeria is like, well, relatively bad, at least it was for me, but it wasn't as bad as the extent to which I would obviously deny my own identity. So that was off the table for me. So what did I do? I remember it really clearly because it was 2 weeks to my birthday. I bought a ticket and I left Canada. So I was I left though, and I complied, because what choice did I have? They had told me to leave, and for my sanity I had to leave. But I was definitely very devastated at the fact that Canada, which I had thought was an option for me, proved to be a no-go area. It felt like I wasn't wanted there. It felt like it wasn't for me. It just felt like, everything was against me, and I couldn't actually move or relocate to Canada as I'd wanted to. So I'd mentioned earlier that I got a 2-year visa. So when I got back to Nigeria from Canada after being rejected and sent back, I decided against applying for the work visa, because I knew I had a 80% confidence level of not getting it, so I did not. And I decided to visit the country again about 6 months later, because I still had a 2-year valid visa. I got to Toronto, and the officer, obviously they had already tagged it in their immigration record. So the officer took a look and is like, well, I see you were here last year and you wanted a work permit and we didn't give you a work permit. He's like, well, I can already tell you have dual intent, so I will not let you into Canada. So he told me to get a friend to come pick me up, and I could stay the night in Canada, but I'll be put on a flight going back to Nigeria the next day. Oh my goodness. So I'm like, diehard like me, not only have I spent a ton of money on another ticket coming to Canada, but apparently my 2-year visa, I could no longer use it, because anytime I come to Canada, I would be sent back. So that was really annoying, but I went back home to Nigeria and things got a little better, but I didn't really give up. The fact that I wanted to leave the country and go somewhere else with more opportunities. So that was my driving force, the fact that I wanted to leave. And for people, not even border agents somewhere telling me I couldn't, I wasn't okay with that. So what I did is I I checked online for the programs they had, immigration programs they had in Canada at that time, which led me to applying for the federal skilled worker stream in 2014. So that stream, for those of you who have moved, used to exist for federal skilled workers. So they would normally have a cap, an NOC cap. An NOC means National Occupations Code. So you had to fall under a particular NOC. For example, you have to be either a human resource manager or you have to be in the financial industry to fall within a particular NOC code. So at that time, I had applied under the human resource NOC code, National Occupations Code. By the time my application got to Ottawa, where they usually receive all the applications, the cap had reached. So say they wanted to take 5,000 people, I was probably 5,200. What happened? They sent back my application. I'm like, wow, this is the third time Canada is using style to tell me don't come. But I'm like, that's okay though, that's okay. The next year, 2015, they launched the express entry system. So I was like, okay, let's try this again. We'll go from the top again. So I applied. I got my documents together. I did my English. I had my educational qualifications assessed by the World Education Services, and I basically had everything down. When I entered the pool, the express entry pool, I was actually sitting at 412 points because I had a master's. I don't know why my points were so low, but at that time I only had 412. So they had done like a few draws, and even when these draws were being held, I could see that my scores were too low to be called to get an ITA, which is an invitation to apply. What did I do? I sat down, I studied for IELTS again. So the first time I wrote IELTS, I was feeling really cool with myself. I'm like, I'd read like 1,001 novels. I have a very good command of English. I'm from an English-speaking country. I don't really need to study for IELTS, but best believe that I needed to. So I focused a lot on my essay writing, on my listening, and I just basically got really top IELTS scores. I'll try and find it so I can show you my scores then and now. So I got better scores the second time around, and I got an ITA. So at that point I felt, oh my goodness, I have arrived. I just need to complete my application, send it to the Canadian processing office, and everything would be fine. I would legitimately be allowed into Canada. So that was where I was, and at that time I was really happy I didn't give up, because when you get told no so often, sometimes it discourages you, right? Like you're like, oh, maybe I should just focus on something else. Maybe I should go to America instead and just be a refugee. Maybe I should go and study again in the UK. Maybe. So a lot of maybes went through my mind, and yeah, but I'm glad I stuck it out and applied, and I eventually got my ITA. If you'd like to find out the next step of my immigration journey, which led to my being banned from Canada, yes, you heard me right, banned from Canada for 5 years because of misrepresentation, then check my next video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and also click on the notification button so you are updated when I post new content. I usually post videos every Sunday evening, so please like, share within your network, and subscribe. And by all means, drop a lot of comments. Let me know what you're going through in your journey to be more, in your journey to actually do something different than the normal. Or if you're having trouble with immigration issues, drop comments down below so I can see what struggles you've been through as well. Thanks a lot for checking in. Bye.